Good evening. It's 5 o'clock, and we'll start the Historic Review Board meeting with a moment of silence and pledge allegiance to the flag. Everybody rise. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated.
Yes, sir. All right, thank you. Same for you.
Do we have any public comment?
Oh, do we need a roll call?
Or roll call, please.
Mayor present.
Lasser, present.
Strube present.
Tom present. Thank you very much. Public comment? We do not. Okay, moving right along, consent of agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Now, we need to approve the minutes. Has everybody had a chance to read the minutes of January? I have a motion to accept them.
Make a motion to accept the minutes from January.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 10 point. New business, unfinished business, none. New business, fence installations, we have none. Modifications to approve certificate of appropriateness, none. Man, we're rolling right along. Renovation minor. First one is 303 and 305 Strawberry Street,
Go ahead, keep going.
and it's replacing an existing metal roof on the front porch with shingles, a shingle roof. It's a standing rib roof, in case anybody wants to know, and it's rusted.
I need to get our applicant on the phone, so 1 second.
And we need to talk to the gentleman. Good evening, John. This is Herb with the Historic Review Board.
Mr. Gavin, you there?
I'm fine. How are you, sir?
Okay.
Good. Could you explain to us?
Yeah, sorry. I'm going to switch microphones for everyone. Thank you. Okay. Sorry, we had to adjust the microphones.
Nope, no problem.
Could you explain to us a little bit about what you want to do?
Yeah, I simply want to take off the rotting metal roof that's on the front porch of my duplex I purchased in 2020 and replace it with a shingle roof that would match the master roof of the house.
Okay. Do you know what you, is the substructure of the roof good, or you want to change that also?
Underneath the metal roof, is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Well, they're going to check that when they pull up the metal roof and make sure everything's structurally sound. If it's not, they're going to fix it before they put the shingle roof on there.
Shouldn't be anything visible underneath.
Anybody have any questions?
No, that should be all right. Yeah.
Kathy?
And these are the shingles they're going to use, these landmark architectural shingles?
To
Yeah.
match the primary roof.
Okay, I have no questions.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Well, don't hang up yet.
Don't-
You guys
don't
need
hang
to
up.
take some votes.
John, we're going to take a vote now on your project.
I make a motion that...
Okay.
Can I have a motion for 303 and 305 Strawberry Street for the replacement of a existing metal roof, tear off and replace with a shingle roof?
I so move.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. You're more than welcome. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. No opposed. You may go ahead and do your roof, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you all.
You're welcome. Bye.
Okay.
Moving right along. The second one is 539 Jefferson Avenue, a certificate of appropriateness to replace a front porch, handrails, and columns, and repair or replace the front porch ceiling and garage overhang soffit.
Is that this one? Yeah.
Before we start, I believe one of our members wants to disclose something.
Yes. I have not met Cheryl or Frank Simic, but I have, about 5 or 6 weeks ago, we did have a phone conversation. Would you be sharing that?
Yeah,
Cheryl?
Cheryl.
Cheryl, okay.
Yes. Are you Mike?
And at that time, somebody had given me your number that said they thought you were going to be renting out your place in the summer. And I asked to, about some time in July and August, and you said you would hold that for me. Is that all correct? Okay, so I think that that's enough of a basis for me to step back on this particular application out of a sense of conflict of interest and we still have a majority, so that's my request.
You've disclosed your potential conflict. It's up to the board to determine, do you feel that's a substantial enough conflict that Mr. Strube should step away from?
No.
I personally do not feel it is.
I don't.
Martin?
Yeah, I mean, I think yes, I think we have enough people to handle it without any appearance of conflict.
So if the rest of the board is okay, you understand, you're saying you don't think it's a conflict, but out of a sense of comfort for Mr. Strube, you're going to allow him to step away
Yes, he
from
can step
participating in
away.
this item?
He doesn't have to move that.
No,
Yeah, no,
just don't talk.
Don't say anything.
zip, okay, thanks, okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So our property at 539 Jefferson has 2x4s and 6x6 posts for the railings up the stairs. And we would like to replace those with vinyl railings, correct. And the ceiling and the roof was rotted and damaged by carpenter bees, and we'd like to replace the roof with, I forget what my husband said it is. It's like this.
Beadboard?
Yes,
Beadboard.
beadboard, and same with the, there's an overhang, soffit overhang over the garage. We wanted to do the same.
And what material will that be?
Wood,
No, but
The beadboard?
yes,
you're going to do that with beadboard also?
yes,
Okay.
for the ceiling, yes.
And you're taking the standing rib metal roof off?
No, we're leaving the roof. The
You're
roof will
leaving the metal
stay.
roof in the garage?
We'll leave the roof on the garage.
Okay.
So it's just underneath.
So the garage overhang, you're talking
The-
about the underside?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, and the sides.
okay. I have no questions.
So I don't see any issue with the beadboard ceiling. I think what it amounts to is question over covering everything with vinyl.
Right.
Yeah, are the posts vinyl clad, or are they?
They're, right now, they're pressure treated wood.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the ones you want to replace them
We
with.
just want to encase it with vinyl to protect it.
Okay. Not solid.
No, you're sleeving them.
Yes, exactly.
But the railings are solid, or just vinyl?
Yes.
The railings are PVC though, correct?
So I'm here stepping in for my husband. It's whatever he
They look
said.
like PVC.
Yeah.
I don't want to contradict anything.
No, that's okay. This is the one that we have the photograph of,
Yes.
of
Yes.
the
The
handicap ramp?
Yeah, where her sample showed what looked sort of like a angled handicap ramp, which I
Right.
don't think that's what you're achieving.
No,
No.
you
It's-
just, that was
it's the type
the
of
material.
material.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a second picture.
And we wanted to make sure it was available, so we went to OBS to make sure that it was readily available, because we didn't want to propose something that, you can't get.
Right, because you get in trouble.
Yeah.
But the product name says Raven vinyl railings, not PVC.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. Okay,
It's like Apple or Apple.
that's fine.
I don't know.
I have no more questions.
Anybody have any questions, Michael? Oh, you can't talk. Okay, don't talk. Martin? You can talk.
Thank you.
No. Kathy?
I make a motion that we issue a certificate of appropriateness for the work outlined.
Second, please.
Second that?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Okay, Michael, you're back in.
I'm back in.
Yes, sir. Good. Okay, under D, renovation, additions, and new construction. The first one is number 1 Fig Street, the old Kellogg building. Anybody here to come forward?
Presuming you want to have kind of an introductory statement. My name is Luke Kellum, LJ Kellum Construction. I will be the general contractor for the project. Jerry West is the architect who has a considerable amount of experience on different historical projects. She's going to be the lead architect for the work. In summary, Jeb was quick to point out, thankfully so, that when I put in my application for demolition, that the asbestos and lead needed to be remediated before we could really do anything. And in summary, the same people that are going to be doing that will also be doing the demolition. And so Katie agreed to kind of explore a two-phase effort. One, to allow us to do the demolition, get rid of the asbestos, get rid of the lead paint, and basically clean the palette, if you will, so that we can then kind of take a step back and finalize the architectural plans. I'm going to let Jerry speak a little bit about going forward, but there are, and you all see the report, the lead and asbestos report as part of your notes. There's a fair amount of work we need to do to kind of clear that out. And there are also some structural facets. There's a bulge in the back that is real obvious if you want to go look at it. There's some lintels up above some of the storefronts that were, jury-rigged, if you will, 2 or 3 different layers over the years. So anyway, we just got some tire kicking to do beyond the lead and asbestos, and then at that point, we will be able to fine-tune what are at this point solid, but nonetheless a little conceptual on the architectural drawings. We are committed long-term to maintaining the facade as you see it. This is where I'm going to exit stage left and let Jerry speak. But the request today is to allow us to move ahead with the demolition so that we can have a better understanding of what exactly we need to do.
Totally understandable. I just have 3 questions for
Sure.
you. Ahead of your enjoining your demolition project.
Mm-hmm.
That have you made provisions for the LP gas tank that has pamphlet 58, which I do not have a copy of,
Uh-huh.
that designates a distance between the building and the tank?
Right.
That's one question. Second question is the venting of the kitchen, where is it going to go? And the third is a timeline on when you're going to start, because it bothers me about the asbestos abatement, the lead paint abatement, and securing the building with that still there, depending on when you take the glass out.
Mm-hmm.
So those are my concerns, the 3 major concerns.
I'm going to let Jerry address the exhaust question. The LP gas, the owners are currently actively engaged with the owner of the adjoining lot. I suspect that would be Plan A, preferably with ownership, but if not ownership, lease or something like that to allow us, and the owners have been in active engagement and actually have a really good relationship with the person that owns that property right now. It's been a real comfortable. So that's Plan A. In terms of timing and security, I have been getting emails, no exaggeration, weekly from the person that wants to do the work, who is an acquaintance of the owners, and I kind of have kept kicking the can down the road and said, well, let's see how it goes tonight, and then at that point, as soon as we can get the permit, I think he's ready to jump, so.
Sure.
And he's got a big outfit, he's done a lot of big commercial projects, so it's not gonna be just a mom and pop outfit in there with his license. I think they'll be able to make pretty quick order of it.
Okay, you'll understand my concern about the abatement process.
Mm-hmm.
Because it has to be sealed,
I'm sure that they're
lead
professional.
and asbestos. That's my concern, that's all. That's
Right.
exposed to the street and the public.
Right. And certainly, anything going on inside, we would seal the shell
Sure.
for all of that.
Okay.
And that would be part of their scope of work. I mean, my name's at the top of the letterhead, so I would still have an eye on it, obviously, but that's, you know, that's part of the contract with them.
Thank you, Lucian.
And then, Jared, you want to talk about?
Sure. So we're doing a bit of a similar project in Suffolk right now, where we're replacing all the windows, like 150 of them, on a 1920s solid brick wall building similar to this one, not similar in looks, but similar in construction. And I guess everybody knows by now that there's a supply chain issue that we don't always know when we can get materials. So one of the other things we'll do during this demolition process is be able to take good measurements of the existing window openings, the existing masonry openings, and then be able to place that order fairly quickly once we get the drawings to show you what we're going to do. So as Luke is abating the building and demolishing some of the things that we know need to go, as well as investigating the structural aspects of it to know whether we have to first repair structural elements of it, I will be designing and drawing so that we can, maybe even before demolition is finished, have drawings to show to you of what we intend to do. We are doing that with the building in Suffolk right now because the lead time on new windows was something like 5 months. And because there's so many windows, 150 windows or more, what they're going to do there and what I'm going to recommend to Luke is that, especially here, because there's asbestos in the mastic around the window frames, is to go ahead and abate that and then dry it in with drywall and building paper temporarily, because they really can't take good measurements until the windows are out,
Right.
the existing windows. And they can't mess around with it with the asbestos
Right.
in it. So it's kind of this two-sided sword.
Catch-22.
Yeah. But it's working well for the Suffolk building. The contractor on that one is happy to have all of the old windows out when the new ones arrive, because it makes it very simple to tag the windows with what hole they go in, and then just take the plywood off and slip them into the holes. So that's the process that
I
we're
wish life was that
hoping.
easy.
Yeah, it sounds easy.
Yeah.
That's a 3-story building, and so there's a lift involved and all that kind of stuff.
And you're replacing every single window.
Yes, every single window
There was
has,
a question, you thought some of
I
them.
thought some of them were recently replaced, is that incorrect?
they don't look like it. I was there for about 5 hours today, and none of them look like they're newer. They could be newer than the original windows, but they're certainly not worth keeping, and
No,
they're
but
full of
I think
asbestos.
they were replaced, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We were
Within
just,
the past 5 years.
we were discussing that today, looking at some of the old doors even.
Yeah.
You know, I think the original building was 1880-something, 86. Maybe one or two of the interior doors are residue from that, but all the exterior egress has been through at least one round of
Yeah.
replacement,
Yeah.
Right.
and maybe more.
So that would be one of the things that we would address with you when we come back with the initial drawings of what we want to do, because we do know that the windows themselves, the fixed window panels from old photographs that appear to be either original or having been put in to look like the original ones.
Right.
The doors themselves do not, they're like a hodgepodge. I don't think any of the doors are historical anymore.
But you're going to take out the old windows and order new ones?
Yes, to match.
Without showing us a drawing of
No,
what
no,
new
we're going to show
ones-
you a drawing first.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah. So doing the abatement and the demolition gives me the time I need to do the design work without having to start installing it, because we have to abate first. So it's kind of a
Okay,
time
there's another
thing.
question, and it may
Yeah.
be silly, but are you going to leave the integrity of the Kellogg building on the roof, on the fascia?
Up around the coping on
Yeah.
the roof. We are not adverse to that, but no one's real certain that's the original coping,
Are you talking about the clay tiles?
The clay tiles up top?
that- Yeah.
which are actually
Yeah.
metal.
Oh, the
They're
ones
metal,
that hang over.
The metal,
Yeah.
so we're gonna do a little more,
Yeah, put it around.
we're game for keeping it original. It's just a bit of a question mark. I'm quite certain those metal things are not original.
not, yeah.
It'd be great if we could find a picture of the original, because the owners are absolutely wed to maintain the integrity of the original.
Right.
So to answer your question, that's a $5 answer to your nickel question, or,
Yeah,
yes, we're committed to doing it, but it'd be nice if we could find a picture of the original.
So right now, the only thing we are approving is the demolition.
Correct.
Right.
Because even though we've got some good conceptual ideas, it's a little academic for Jerry to do her work until we really
Sure.
kind of clear the palette a little
Totally
bit.
understandable.
The venting of the kitchen, there is an existing stack where something was vented out of, and we're gonna try to vent the kitchen through that existing, it's an interior.
To the roof.
Yeah. Does it go through the wall or through the roof? I'm not really sure
It's
yet.
actually, it's through
It's
the roof.
yeah.
Through
It
the
already
roof.
goes through the roof.
Right.
The only thing that may change that is if the owners are able to
If
close
you-
on the
right,
property next
exactly.
door, that may change the complexion.
That's why I asked you, you're prepared to go through the roof because you can't exhaust it on the,
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, as Jerry said, there's actually an existing
there's an
chase
act-
that
an
goes up there
existing
right
chase,
now, so.
yeah. We can make it bigger inside if we need to, if the owners aren't able to purchase the
Sure,
property next door.
exactly.
Because we can't exhaust onto their,
I got you.
So right now, we're treating this as a two-phase application.
Right.
So all we're talking about right now is remove the mezzanine, which my understanding should not really concern us, that is
it's inside.
Right.
interior.
Yeah,
And secondary is the bulge in the rear brick. I mean, I have questions, assuming you're gonna take that out, replace with like material.
Right now, we'll probably just shore it up, and that'll be contingent on Jerry's final design.
so maybe,
then-
maybe you can help us by confirming or not that you're concerned about what you can see from the street and not from an interior property
It's a
line?
street.
Is that true?
Sidewalk and street,
Okay.
yeah.
So one of the things we've discussed is, once we know the extent of the wall that has to come out, the bulge of the brick, is to perhaps put more glass in there, so there's more light. But that would only be if you didn't have anything to say about that back
Well, that
wall.
is right on the rear property.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's,
right,
so it's good
It's-
that you have a relationship with the owner of the lot.
yeah.
So, but you can see the rear from the street. So you gotta be careful because that's in our purview is what's visible.
Right.
Anything visible from
Yeah,
the street,
yeah.
so it could be sides or back if it's on a corner.
Well, that's true. Without anything on that lot that they're thinking of buying, you can certainly see the whole,
Correct.
the long rear side, I'll
Correct.
call it, of the back of it.
Right,
If they do not become the owners of that lot, then you'll still be able to see it unless somebody builds on the lot.
But for now,
So then
you're
you'll want
just
us to
gonna-
replace the brick and not replace it with more glass
But you're not
openings.
gonna do that yet. For now, you're
No,
just
we don't
gonna
even know.
shore it up.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't know
And you'll
what,
figure out
so
what
you're
you'll do
just
with it later.
temporarily shoring the wall up for
Shoring the roof
structural
up.
integrity.
sure, well, because it's bulging.
Yeah, but you're just shoring it up.
Yeah, well, we
They're
think
not-
that the structure of the building is steel columns inside of the brick.
Right.
We don't know for sure, and that's the other reason.
Right.
So if it's steel holding it up, then removing the brick is not going to affect the integrity of it. But if it's not, then we will shore it up
We're gonna have to shore up
structurally.
the roof and then peel out the
Yeah.
brick underneath it,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're
So
not
we
gonna
can,
do anything.
we can see the steel coming
That's
down
not
on the
part of
second floor.
demolition.
No, but that's kind of related to my second question, is
Okay.
what do you mean by remediate? Because to me, that is a very general term.
All the asbestos and lead disappears.
That's what we're talking about, asbestos and lead
Yeah.
exclusively there? Okay.
So that's kind of, I guess, the third element of what you just presented is anything lead and asbestos related disappears. So that objective here is when this exercise is done, when the demolition exercise is done, we've got a clean slate structurally and, what's the word I'm looking for
But-
That's
breathing,
removal, but not construction.
no
Yeah,
construction
so
yet.
no ordering of windows, no construction, replacement of anything will happen until we have a drawing that comes through you.
Okay, do you have,
Does that also include you're gonna remove the garage door as well? I don't know what else to call that.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
you've got
overhead door.
removal of the garage door.
Just want it really clear to everybody, you mean that too.
That will disappear, and I guess that would be part of the demolition phase, yeah.
Oh,
And what will you put there for now?
That's where the owner would like the front door to the restaurant portion. We have been very unsuccessful finding an image of the building that has something other than that door in it. We can't find any photos. It's always been that door, but the door is toast. You know, that door's about to fall out of its hole. And I don't think you want to see another one of those in there, a new one. I'm guessing that you'd rather see some glass that's sort of in the nature of what's in the other ones. Now, one of the things we do know from doing historical projects is that you should not replace things with if you're doing something new to the building. So we're taking out this overhead door. We are not to make it look like it's historic, because people need to know it needs to be apparent what part was the historic part and what part you're adding on. It has to be in the character of the time that the building was built, but not matching.
I don't think that door was.
I don't think, no, but that's part of the point, but,
Yeah, but no one knows what was there
so
before.
because we don't know what was there, we can't replace it with what was there, but we do know that that overhead door was probably not what was originally there.
It's a
So we'd
strong
like to fill
presumption.
that with glass in some manner and have the main door to it through that opening. But I'll probably do 2 or 3 sketches for everybody to look at and decide, you know, how historical do we want to go, or do we want to take it more
But
modern?
we're not
Or not, yeah.
You're not deciding.
talking, we're not making any decision, we're just letting you take the door out.
All of
Right
the-
now, it's just taking the door out.
All
yes,
of the
yes,
egress will disappear in this first round of,
Yeah.
and it's interesting, let's looking about it. Most people seem to think that probably because originally, in the 1880s, I guess in the 20s, it was a DeSoto dealership. And so they had to get the vehicles in. That's the presumption. That's when the garage door appeared, who knows? But it's sure, the facade certainly looks like that was an original storefront that mimicked the other ones. Who knows?
got the
I've not
same
been able to,
curve.
not been able to find. And the header is higher, so I
Yeah.
think when they did this, they also changed the header height and all kinds of stuff. So it's a little academic. We'd love to find a really old picture, but haven't been able to put our hands on one yet.
Check with the Historical Society.
Yeah.
Yeah. The museum, the
Yeah.
Railroad Museum has a lot of old photographs.
Oh, fun.
Right, Michael?
yeah, I'm ready to, whenever the others are finished, I've got a bunch of comments, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Okay.
Go ahead.
That was one of
I
them.
haven't got to you yet. Uh-oh.
I have nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like at this point, phase 1 is mostly just clearing things out.
Yeah, now, go ahead, Michael.
Okay, sorry. Yes, follow up on that point. My wife and I volunteer at the Cape Charles Museum on Mondays, and so yesterday I spent a lot of time. And there's a half-hour thing that has all kinds of photos, but they're not in any order. There's a couple of the Kellogg building in that, but a better source, if you just Google on early photos of Kellogg buildings, you'll get some photos in that. But the other thing is there is a very good but not well-known 15-minute presentation by a woman named Laura Smith in the town about, and it's in something called, I think, Sunday Historical Perspectives, about the history of the town. And I think the picture of the Kellogg building in there is very early state. It's Spanish colonial revival. I remember that from the spiel. But I also know it's also the site of the original dwelling in Cape Charles around 1888. But I suspect that when the automobile business started in 1925, that was when that whole Spanish colony was built in 1925. And it was built originally as an auto dealership, showroom, that sort of thing. And ever since then, until present, I don't think there's ever been another business there besides auto supply. So it is obviously, I think, of some importance. The people that have grown up here, it's in their minds, that's always been an auto dealership kind of thing. The ones I've talked to, some of them work at the museum, and quite a few of them. But the other thing is that that when you go about this work, like on the windows, there is that lattice work at the bottom part of, will that stay?
You mean across the
The
top
white,
of?
the
Across
the
the
white
top,
cross
yeah.
pieces that are in across all the windows in the front?
Yeah, I mean, every historic project that I've done in the past, we've replaced all the windows with the exact same thing, the most historical reproduction of those that we can. And there's a couple of window manufacturers, Anderson, Marvin, and Pella, that can do historic windows. Those are pretty typical window companies that you probably see going up on people's houses and businesses. So Anderson did all the windows, the historic windows for the old Cavalier Hotel in Virginia Beach, and they did a
Right.
great job of that. We're having Marvin do the one in Suffolk. And Pella was interested in it. They didn't win the bid, but they were interested in it. So there are at least 3 manufacturers local, I'll say locally because they have
Right.
nearby places. Regional, yeah. That we'll reach out to first. And indeed, that will be our goal, to keep the lattice across the top. So,
Okay, so,
And with respect to the garage door, I think that the current one is metal now.
yeah, it's like a metal slatted
Yeah,
roll-up
so-
door.
You're you want to remove it,
Yeah.
but you're going to replace it with something else, right? It's still going to look like a garage door, right? I mean, the structure,
The opening will remain the
The
same.
opening.
The opening will remain the same,
yeah,
yeah.
because I know that,
The masonry opening, we're not going to change the
Yeah.
shape of the masonry
the,
opening.
recently, the last few years, the Peach Street bookstore was built where a gas station used to be, and they had 2 garage, they just cut a door right
Into the
onto
middle
the
of it.
garage door,
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
did
yeah.
a very good job
Yeah,
of
it's really
finessing
cool.
that door
Uh-huh.
without having to destroy the look of the garage door. So that's the kind of thing I'm hoping that we'll
Well, and the
do
firehouse,
with this,
the old fire.
the old firehouse, yeah.
yeah. So, that was my thought there, that that you maintain the look of a garage door as you make these improvements.
But right now, you're only here for demolition, okay? And you will bring the drawings back to us, and everybody will be happy.
It says remove garage.
They're gonna remove it, they're not gonna tell us how it's gonna get replaced
That's
yet,
right, so I'm
not
just-
tonight.
Yeah, because,
Yeah.
because no matter what, the door doesn't work
Yeah,
anymore.
but,
So it needs to be removed in terms of, it's not safe, it'll fall
Yeah.
in, it can't be operated, all of the above. So I would be interested, as time goes on, to hear what everybody thinks about what should go there in its
Oh,
place.
good, okay.
Yeah.
That's,
We'll give
we'll work
you
it out.
Okay.
a
'cause I
lot of
know,
input.
You know,
Okay.
it's a commercial interest, so I understand that.
Okay.
Okay, somebody make a motion to give them?
I
Before you
would,
make a motion,
yes,
can we talk about timeline when we would see you again? What's the potential scope and timeframe associated with this work?
I am going to say, like I said, I've been getting emails from the guys who can do the demo and the weekly. I told him tonight was the big night.
Okay,
I'm going to say cautiously, he'll be able to start within a month.
okay,
I don't know that though, Katie, until I run up the flagpole with him. Let's say a month to 6 weeks tops.
okay.
I think he'll be able to knock that out. He implied 2.5 weeks. And then once that's clear, then it's back.
So what's the timeline from when your work gets somewhat finished to when you're started and can start seeing
How often,
drawings?
how often does this
We
board
meet
meet?
once a month.
Once a month, okay.
It's the 3rd Thursday of every month.
I'm going to start on the exterior pretty much right away. As we did the field measurements today, and as soon as we get that, what I call the base drawing drawn, which is what's there right now, I'm gonna start sketching of what we're thinking about doing. I need to involve Luke, and I need to involve the owner, so there'll be some back and forth with that. But I feel pretty certain that we'll be ready to submit that portion, part 2, shortly after the demolition is done.
So we won't see you before July. I think, just to give you guys all an expectation here, maybe we can get them on for the July meeting, worst case, August is what I'm kind of thinking in
I
here.
think that
August,
seems reasonable.
August would probably,
August,
because I do have to make sure the owner likes what I do
Right.
first, so.
So I just want to put everybody's expectations and the public expectations.
Thank
So
you.
we're really looking at August.
I think
More likely
we
than
can
not.
pretty much commit to August unless Luke runs into some demolition problems, but from
And
my
the structural
standpoint.
engineer has been over twice, and kick the tires a bit. So, I mean, I've had a lot of people put their eyes on it. And just as an FYI, the owners intended to be here tonight, but with the weather on the East Coast, they spent the night in Detroit last night and could not get to Norfolk today until an 11 p.m. flight out of Detroit tonight. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry that their intent was to be here yesterday afternoon. Anyway,
That's all right, we're happy to see both of you,
Thanks.
the three of you.
And thank them for their efforts to make it.
Yeah.
We,
well, we're excited, and they, I'm sorry they can't be here, but they're good folks. and
It's a
they're-
great project. I've met
Thanks.
both the owners, and they're wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay?
Just gonna say there's a lot to do around that Hampton Roads Airport area at that hour. So we should have a good time this evening. No, I,
Never mind.
Now we can do a
Now
motion.
you can do a motion.
Okay, Martin, somebody.
I make a motion to approve as proposed Phase 1 of the application.
With the understanding that no additional work will be done until they come back.
As
Absolutely.
presented and
Right,
in
and
our
the-
application this evening.
Michael,
I'll second.
all in favor?
I,
Go ahead, Mr. Cole.
Thank y'all very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank
and
you.
I did Google old photos.
Yeah.
And there are some in here.
Of a different door in there?
Well, not so much a different door, but that open bay area
Yeah.
used to all be closed in.
Yeah.
I've seen that,
Yeah, I've seen
but
videos
my,
of
my,
that.
my big bird dogging is the coping
Yeah,
or
no,
the
they all
the
show-
roof, and I just can't believe that metal.
They all
But-
show a door there.
The metal door.
Wood in one of them.
Okay. All right,
That's where they kept the horse.
No worries.
And I think,
Thank you.
I think it's Fitzhugh Supply. You can see the name of the dealer, but don't quote me, that's it.
Thank y'all very much.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, next, 510 Monroe Avenue, certificate of appreciation for roof, replacing the existing slate roof to a shingle roof. Good evening.
Hi, I'm Jeb Johnson, Johnson Southern Builders.
Who?
This is, and this guy for 40 years. This is Pat James.
How are you?
At 510 Monroe. We're gonna do some projects at her house, potentially, hopefully. She has a existing slate roof that is severely failing. So phase 1, we're going to rip off the slate, fix the decking, put on a new 50-year architectural GAF roof with all copper flashings. And a back section is the existing standing seam, an old steel roof that had been painted multiple times that's failing. We're going to tear that off and put a standing seam copper roof. Her front porch has been replaced with a shingle roof. We're going to tear that off and put a new shingle roof to match everything else. And it has aluminum flashing, and we're going to replace that with copper flashing as well. She has 4 dormers. It's a 4-square house. It's a brick 4-square house. Probably dates about 1900. Do you know anything?
I don't know the exact date, around 1920.
About 1920.
Okay. 4-square brick house. So it's a hip roof. It has a dormer at each side. All the dormers are going to be done the same way as the roof. We're going to tear. It has slate on the sides of the dormers. We're going to tear the slate off when we tear the roof off, and we're going to put a hardy siding on that. We're going to replace the old wood windows with Andersons with the same grid pattern, 6 mullions, a 6-window pane window, and that'll be phase 1. And then we're going to paint all of the existing rafter tails on the dormers. So on phase 1, we're going to do everything, all the roofs and all the dormer work. I'm going to have a 80-foot lift there to do it all off the street, booming in, the same way I did Jim Drevis's about a year ago. I think a couple of you guys were on the board when we did that one. This roof is even worse shape than his. Both of them had buckets all over their attic, leaks all over the place. I climbed up on both of them and told them there was nothing I could do. I could patch it like everybody's been doing for the last 40 years, but it's going to just waste a lot of money, ultimately needing to be replaced.
We have a great love for slate roofs,
I do too.
So do I.
you know? And however, we had the opportunity today to have a meeting with the staff of the town. and we went over it, and we were talking about the shingles that you're gonna replace the slate with.
Right.
And that's the shingles that I came up with, but you had already
Right.
listed them.
Yeah.
And
I
I
mean, it's-
think, have you read this thing? Okay, and you saw the slate he's done. Anyway, I personally don't have a problem with it because we've set a precedent by allowing it to be done,
Right.
even though I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But I can't penalize you all when we've already allowed it to be done
Right.
before. And you did pick a good grade of shingle that from the street, I think it'll give a good appearance of slate.
Oh, yeah, it's a nice looking shingle.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
pewter
wonderful
gray, it
shingle.
looks the color.
Did you bring
It's
a
a
sample?
thick shingle, has a lot of character.
Did you bring a sample?
I didn't bring a sample.
You did?
I did not,
Oh, you did
but
not.
I mean, I can bring one later date.
That's a shame.
But it's all gonna have, I mean, it's gonna be the best roof I know how to put on, except for putting on another slate roof. Or another standing seam copper roof or something like that. This is the best asphalt shingle, and it's gonna be installed with the best nails and the best flashings. And then hardy siding, not vinyl or anything cheap. It's gonna look nice, it's gonna look like wood up there. And so we'll lead into phase two, which I'll get to in a second. So it's all gonna be done the best way I know how to do it. And you know, I've been doing it for a little while, but and this is, you know, I think it'll look nice. I think I pretty much guarantee it'll look nice. And everything, historically, it'll look as old as I know how to make it look, but be new. You know what I mean?
Anybody else, please?
You said phase two, so
right,
are
so-
we just talking about phase one right now? and
Yes, I didn't want to get too wrapped up in going back and forth.
So phase one is just replacement of the roof?
The
They're
roof
asking
and
for
the,
everything.
and
This
the dorm room.
application's for
One
everything.
application.
But I just want to separate it
Stages.
through our
Okay,
conversation.
so we're voting on all of it
All of
tonight?
Yeah, so I'll lead into that. So that's phase one. That's how I'm going to do it too. I'm going to install. I'm going to come there and I'm going to do phase one, and then once phase one is finished, I'm going to do phase two. All right. So phase two, this house is, like I said, it's a brick 4-square house. It's had additions put on the back. I think actually two. I mean, two different. I know it looks like one addition, but I think it was done at 2 different times.
Right.
All right. So the second one, the last one that's on there now, we're going to completely tear off. It was never done to code. It's sagging. It's rotting. It's, you know, it's not in good shape. Not restorable, in my opinion. So we're going to tear that off, and we're going to build one back, very similar, but 7 feet deeper. But it's going to have this roughly the same look. But it's all, we do have the space for that. We got it surveyed and all that, so the square footage wise is good, as far as I know. And we had all that checked out. And it's all gonna be done with the same type of materials. It's gonna be Anderson windows or doors, potentially. We haven't gotten exactly on those, either Anderson or Marvin, probably similar to the last person up here, Mrs. West, that was going over the windows they were using at the Keller building, but it's gonna be high-grade windows. Anderson or Marvin, and doors. It's hardy siding. It's going to be PVC trim or cedar, or whatever we exactly pinpoint when we get to that point. The deck on the top is going to be probably a pre-finished powder-coated aluminum railing or a high-grade wood railing that's painted. The floor of the deck is going to be either a teak or a high-grade composite that looks right. It's going to have a spiral staircase, which will be a powder-coated black staircase that'll go up to the second balcony from the backyard. One step on the east or the west side of the addition is going to be a brick set of steps that'll match, and the brick foundation we're going to do is going to match the house brick. So I'm going to do everything I can to match the mortar, match the brick, and the bricks we're going to use on that step over there will be to match as well.
Does the property have an alley?
It does. Yeah. Yeah.
So you haven't decided on all your materials? You
Not
say-
for phase two. We're close, but, the availability, sizing, different things that they can get the size, I haven't pinpointed that yet. I mean,
Then I don't think we can approve that.
We could have a
I think
condition.
you can, because this is all in the backyard.
anything
Nothing
back,
at
yeah.
this property is
Visual.
visible from the
Right.
street. There's
Something on the
nothing
side.
on the rear of the
We gotta
structure.
decide
visible.
about an alley.
So would we say
We have-
either or?
It's not, that was,
No, I mean,
either
That's been
wood
proposed.
or
I don't know, was it approved?
composite.
Since I have been here, which has felt like an eternity, we have treated alleys as not our purview. Nothing is visible from the front of the structure.
And from the drawing, it looks like the second floor and the first floor are flush, whereas in the existing, there's an overhang. Is that correct? In the existing, you've got an overhang of the top.
Roof.
No, I'm talking
Yeah, that's
about
all
the
gonna
back.
stay the same. None of the roof overhangs are gonna change at all. All the existing rafter tails are gonna just be prepped and primed and painted, repaired as needed. You know, those
The
kind of things.
sunroom's gonna be a little bit longer.
So it'll be a little bit, yeah.
It'll come out to the
Deeper.
full size of the
The width will
second.
be the same, but it'll be deeper towards the back, to the alley, 7 more
Does it
feet, which where you have the room, huh?
On the brick will return, or is it gonna, the addition gonna be flush and run straight?
It's gonna be the same size.
Yeah, it's gonna be the same side, width,
Width.
yep.
So it'll look the same as
It'll
far
look the
as
same.
the-
It's very, the design they have, you know, Kevin McCluskey did the drawings for them, and they had a drawing of a picture of what they liked, and it's very, very similar to what they have, you know? Obviously, in my opinion, of course, this is what we're proposing to do, and this is what they have there now.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? See how the second floor overhangs?
Where, up here?
No, no, no.
Oh, yeah, no, it's something like that.
It's gonna be flush.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was, it's gonna be, looks like a little bit, a trim piece, but not like that. You know, like I said, whoever did this addition, you know, was not code. That was obviously didn't go through a war to do it, but.
Obviously.
And the railing, any issues with the spiral staircase?
The existing railing they have,
On the back,
I
in
guess
the proposed drawing.
Clarification. You're gonna go from, I think it was 256 to 480? On
sorry.
the, on the square footage of
square
the
footage.
sunroom?
yeah, 7 more feet deep. So yes, I guess whatever you, if you've done the math, yeah.
It's almost,
So they're removing the 146 square foot addition that's there today, they're gonna remove that, replace it to a total of 280 square feet, which
Yeah,
is an
we're
increase of
doubling that-
134.
okay.
That-
And 3 places it refers to the term slightly enlarged. Maybe you're talking about an exterior thing? Because to me, it sounds like it's twice as many square feet.
Yeah, but it's only 140 square feet, you know, it's not a huge room, it's 7 feet deep now, that second addition, like I was telling you about. So it's a 4 square house that had an addition put on, and then it had another one put on. And this last one that was put on is the one we're gonna tear off totally, and then add on to that. So, yes, so it's actually adding another 140 square feet roughly. So it's doubling that last addition, that last add-on that they did. But there is room in the backyard to do that.
And then it was 3 places referred to slightly enlarged.
Right, sorry, I
Okay,
don't
that's
know where
fine.
that, yeah.
No, and
Don't
that's
mean
a
to-
reference I made in my staff report.
Well,
I
you got it
describe
from the letter though, had it in it.
But I describe it as a slight increase, because I do view it as a
No,
slightly square
His letter
footage.
said that.
Yeah.
too, though. So
Yeah,
I
most
think
additions are a lot bigger than-
I also concur with that
Yeah, oh, that's fine, okay.
description, so,
Oh, really?
yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes.
There's must be a different parameter than just square footage, that's all I was asking. I mean, in appearance wise, it maybe only looks like slightly larger. Okay.
So we're saying.
It has no bearing really on.
And from a zoning compliance standard, it did not alter.
I mean, I can-
No,
compliance
that's
with
right.
zoning.
The spirals.
To get on your question about the exact material, when we get to that point, I will, can submit to you
Right.
guys in a package, the.
Well,
when-
but we're voting on it tonight.
Okay, yeah,
so
I mean,
you
I'm
won't
just
be
saying,
coming back.
so you know, I mean, it's either gonna be Marvin or Anderson, you know, I mean, it's not gonna be, you know.
But submitting at that point is too late.
Right.
You've done this on other projects,
I
where
mean, it would be a contingent on material.
contingent for materials to be reviewed by me.
I don't have, I know where he lives. The other thing is the
Yeah.
structure
You can see it from the front.
overcoming the square footage of the lot?
Well,
That's
maybe
your-
not.
Say that again?
Yeah, I
I
don't
can't
know.
hear you.
the
Will you be
addition
able to
of-
see the spiral railing from the front?
Sorry,
No,
Herb was
it's
talking.
hidden by the,
Oh, I'm sorry.
let me show you.
No, you can't.
The square footage
All right, so,
of the addition that they're gonna put on the house, the structure, does it comply with the amount of square footage of the lot?
Yes. I know, it's in zoning compliance.
That's it?
Yes,
That's all I wanted you to tell me.
yes.
Okay. You got that, Mike?
Got it.
All right. Everybody got it?
Got it.
So,
Any
and I
questions?
missed what you just said to Kathy, I'm sorry, there's too many conversations, one person at a time talking. I can't catch
You
everything.
just showed me where
I
the
was showing
spiral
on the back of the
staircase.
house.
Right, where it's going,
Yeah, right there where you see that brick is where the spiral staircase
Right.
is going. This is the back to the
Yes.
original part of the house on the
Yep.
block.
yep, okay.
Yeah, on the floor plan, it's not done that way. It shows
Yeah,
it
so
differently.
Kevin does nice drawings and he gets it done, but it's not always, exact,
Okay.
I just want
I
to make
mean-
sure I understood.
Okay, so,
He leaves it up to me.
So I just want to be clear at this point, your concern and you like more clarity and affirmations to the type of window that's being
Right.
actually installed.
right,
And you'd be okay if it's Anderson window or a
Poe.
Marvin.
Marvin,
Marvin.
thank you. I
Yeah.
couldn't think of it fast enough.
But it's-
Okay,
It's
Like
not
say,
so much the
it's
brand, it's
historical.
the style.
okay. And
Yeah,
the
so this-
style is what? That's all I get clear here.
That has the
Sill,
sill, herb sill.
with a sill.
Well, these are a little different style windows. I mean, these go pretty much to the ground.
Oh, they're like French door windows.
Right.
Okay. Those are the, you're not replacing any other
But I
ones.
understand what you're saying about the sill. So it's, if any of those windows
Yeah,
will
no,
be, if there's
It's gonna be,
anything on the sides.
no, keep going.
And the dormer ones will have the sill.
Oh, for the sill.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so Katie, we can go ahead and approve this?
Yes, I think you can. If you are okay with everything they've said so
Everybody,
far, including the
Martin, you
slate roof work.
satisfied with the window thing?
I mean, I think it's gonna be an approval contingent on materials and whatever's submitted after the fact. I think I'm comfortable with that.
Katie?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. You want to make that motion?
I can try.
Katie.
Yeah, I would like to make a motion to approve the application as proposed contingent on a detailed material list.
I guess the middle package or something.
Yeah.
On 510 Monroe.
Yes.
Right.
Second?
And I just want to clarify, because I know it's, someone can make a second, sorry. There was
Pardon
a
me?
second?
I'll second.
Okay. They've given us a material list, it wasn't as specific in terms of the type of vendor material, so I don't want anybody to think they didn't give us a materials list, they did. It just needs a little more work on it. Okay.
Can I have a vote, please? Meyer?
Mayor, yes.
Yes.
Lasser, yes.
Tom, yes. So we have an approval. Be my guest and do a good job, like you always do.
I will, no problem. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
So the submittal package, we decide on that, just submit it to the board?
Submit
Yes.
to the office.
Okay,
Right to
Got
Katie
it.
Nunez, and then
okay. All
we'll all,
right, we're used to doing that.
see you again.
No problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I need you to stop
Pass
at my
the
house.
administrative muster.
I know, I will. I'm getting ready to do the same thing to my
Do
house,
that.
so I'll
Not
give it
that.
to you. I know what you're talking about.
This is business.
Lot 125 Jefferson Avenue, to build a single-family dwelling and
Don't be
124.
afraid, you look like we're gonna eat you
Yeah.
alive.
You're not gonna get eaten.
Install a fence around the rear of the property.
You're not gonna get eaten.
Hi, how are
We
you?
don't bite.
Good evening, how are you?
Good evening.
Hey, how are you?
How we
today?
doing?
Good.
All right, good.
Good to see you.
Good. So, I'm Bill Dowdy with Village Builders. I'm here with Alexis and Gildo.
Guy.
They bought the 622 Jefferson Avenue lot. I think they bought it from the auction, town auction. And they proposed to put a two-story home on the site, 2,144 square feet. First floor would be about 1,072 square feet. Same thing for the second floor, 1,072 square feet. It'll be a 4-bedroom, 3 full bathroom, and 1 half bath. The foundation will be a 4-course, 8-inch block,
foundation, fully parged, about 24 inches of foundation visible above grade. The main gable roof will be an 812 gable roof with the gable end wall facing Jefferson Avenue. We propose a 30-year architectural certainty shingle for the roof. The siding will be a certainteed monogram double 5-inch clapboard vinyl siding. The thickness is 0.046. The outside corners will be 4 inches in width. The front gable will have an 8-inch white transition, basically to break up the front gable, since the front porch is just 1 story. The exterior soffit on the overhangs will be 4 inches, 4x4. The fascia will be 6 inches in width. The window package that we propose for this is the same window we've used in town in the past. Is a Ply Gem Pro Series double hung vinyl clad window. The simulated divided light pattern that they have chosen is 2/1. The window has 3.5-inch integrated flat trim on 3 sides. And then, of course, the thick sill nose at the bottom of the window.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. The exterior doors will be Therma-Tru or MMI, and the reason why we're saying or MMI is because Therma-Tru has had some supply chain issues, and we've had to, be able to get different. They basically manufacture the same look of door. It'll be a fiberglass door. Of course, they'll get painted. The first floor front door is proposed as a 6-panel with 2 small windows at the very top. The rear door is a 2-panel half-light door. Their front porch is basically 24 feet across the front of the house. The house overall is roughly about 28 feet. So that, gives you roughly a little bit over 80% of the front facade of the house. It'll be a shed roof at a 312 pitch. All the framing material for that porch will be pressure treated, not visible. The decking that we propose is what the town likes to use as a composite TNG. The boards will be 3 inches in width, and they'll be run 90 degrees to the house so that you see the cut ends, as like the guidelines say. The railing that we're going to use is our same railing that we've used on our packages here, is a white vinyl railing with square 6-inch white post that's sleeved. They will have the steps going up to the front would be basically about 6 foot wide, and of course the same composite treads and AZAC risers. We'll use AZAC around the front of the house as well on our.
Similar to all the houses you're building.
Pretty much, yeah. Yep, pretty much the same exact thing.
What about the fence in the shed?
So that I added. So the shed is a shed that I found online. We would do wood, with a shingle-like roof.
Is he gonna build a shed?
No, I found some. This is my hope after. That's not going to be probably right away, right when we're done. But I just wanted to get everything approved, if I could get it approved. So the shed was something I was just going to buy from where you can assemble it or have somebody build it for you from like Lowe's or Home Depot. And the fence depends on what we can get just for the rear of the house. I looked at some in town. There's none actually on our side of the street on the 600 block because I looked to see if there's anything to match on our side of the street. But I was thinking of either, a vinyl fence for the backyard that would be 6 feet, or if we did wood, something with a lattice, like decorative top to make it look nicer. I know that the person who's next door to us at 624, we actually met him, and so now we have his phone number, and we've been talking with him, and I know he's going to be renovating his. So, maybe we would end up doing a fence together because we'll end up sharing the fence.
What's our thoughts on vinyl fencing?
We can do vinyl fencing with no problem. There's a 6-foot limit in the back,
6 feet.
6 foot in the back and
Correct.
4 in
right?
Yes.
And we're only doing the back of the
And
house.
here is, we asked on the fence, so she did provide us a sample of the shed.
Right, I see that.
Right.
Yeah, in the back of the shed.
Do you need to know where it's gonna be placed?
We have a site plan.
You do, okay.
Which is what was provided.
It's in my packet.
There's a tree on the lot, as I recall.
There's a lot of
There
trees
are
on
multiple
the lot.
trees.
They'll have, most of them will have to go.
There's one in the front, that's a VDOT tree, and they already came and looked and said that it's not healthy. So it'd be removed, and we were gonna replace it with a crepe myrtle. And then there's a whole bunch in the back, that will need to be removed. And then we actually sent them a plan, we made our own landscaping plan for after to replace the trees. But, I mean, currently, if we didn't, the house would pretty much abut all of these trees, and God forbid one of them came down, it would come down on the house, so.
God forbid. Do they need, have you seen the tree people in town?
We've already dealt with that, that's under zoning amendment.
So, just ask. I mean, I don't want you to stump your toe, you know?
Yeah.
They don't go see them directly, we send that on to our office, and yes, we've got
Just
a
checking.
landscaping plan, everything.
Actually, I had a meeting with Ken and Daniel. Ken's with VDOT, Daniel's with ANEC, the power company. And that tree is on their hack list to go anyway, because there's a power pole there that gets power from the other side of the street.
Right.
And it's on their, they had already been discussing this, and so I said, well, look, if it comes down to it, who's paying, if my client wants to pay for it and get it done, they said, well, it could be years before we get to it. I said, so they'll end up bearing the cost of something that's gonna end up happening anyway.
Yeah, this is the Eastern Shore. We have our own timeline. You know?
Nothing happens in a hurry.
Yeah, but
Are you
it's happening.
burying the utilities?
Yes, well, currently, all of Jefferson Avenue is powered by by the north side of Jefferson Avenue.
Right.
As homes are built on the other side of the street, they bring poles over and then they put drops there. The drop is already there for their power, because the neighbor to the left, which would be to the east, they just put in a new power pedestal and they ran the power to that, and they may have to end up moving it because it looks like it's gonna go right through the footings. So,
Right.
but ANEC will take care of that. They'll take care of all that.
Just so we're clear, they're required to bury power lines under our zoning ordinance. In addition, I did want to mention it's on your site plan.
Yep.
Just to say it out loud and put it on record, there's a partial concrete sidewalk on that portion of the street as well.
Yes.
And you're going to be rebuilding that as well, that runs in front of your
Yes.
property. You're required to do that.
I'm sure.
There's a serious grade issue there too, because their lot is really low in comparison to the neighbor.
The adjacent.
Right.
So there's gonna be some, we may have to add an additional block.
We've
I
done the
just,
sidewalks before on
yeah, it's,
everywhere.
yep. That was part of my reason to meet with Ken, to figure out, because there's two different.
It's sort of been the pool for the neighborhood, so to speak.
It has, but I actually, I did
Those trees have grown so well.
I did a soil test there, and the soil's actually really good. It's not, some of that stuff is really almost like coal ash, black.
Raised flower beds.
Raised flower beds.
Any other questions, Martin?
I guess my question was about the siding. We, if memory serves, have only approved 3, maybe 4 vinyl siding applications in the last year and a half, and it was all to a specific
It's
thickness.
042 though.
No, we're .46.
Is that the thicker?
We're thick.
Okay.
Okay, because you and I have had that discussion.
Can't,
It's
yeah,
not
basically,
contributing.
my standard siding I can't use in town anymore. Matter of fact, we're not even offering anymore because
Right.
KCL, the Kings Creek Landing, actually filed suit with you guys, and then you now have to use .4, you have to be .46 or greater.
Right, because we were doing
Or greater.
042.
Yeah.
No,
Uh,
that
Main,
would be better now.
Main Street,
much better.
Main Street is .042. So we're thicker than
There, 042?
Main Street is. Yep.
Okay.
The monogram has a totally different locking system. Once you put it on, you gotta
Yours
be
is
an
great.
artist to take it off.
Yours is absolutely great. Whatever you're using, I'm always been impressed.
So I think I have that, and just clarification on the fence, 6 foot tall, that is to the top of the lattice.
That's to the top, very top. Okay, Kathy,
Nothing else.
I'm good,
can I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve as planned,
Yeah, it's,
There's no
Lot
exceptions.
125 Jefferson.
Lot 125 Jefferson, new construction per plans.
is that good, Katie? Okay. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So have it.
Thank you guys for taking the time.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
Welcome to town.
Thank you.
Okay, Commercial District 3, none. Other business. Report from the interim zoning administrator, Katie Nudaz, on administrative approval, certificate of appropriateness.
So in my report, I noted, at 522 Tazewell Avenue, which is an application that came before you and was approved by you. They did come back to me to talk about the side porch, which was part of their approval. They're having an extreme amount of rot occur back there due to the roof and its design and how it's, all the water is flowing in that particular area of the side porch. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the one I just did recently.
Yeah, I'm like totally,
This is terrible. That was 6:30, sorry. 6:37, I don't know which one it is. So 522 Tazewell, substitution of porch floor material from wood to AZAC on the side of the porch. No, this is the one I'm talking about. Sorry, it is.
No, we do it at 6:30, that's the one.
522 Tazewell, this is exactly what I did for them as well.
Yeah, but they never came to us.
Oh, yes, they did. Anyway, so they're having continual rot in that section of the porch, and they wanted to do a substitution, to move that to an AZAC product where they're having that continual rot issue, there, and I did approve that. Additionally, you can see we are making tremendous headway of going through and ensuring the certificates of appropriateness that you've approved over the last 3 years have actually been completed as intended. So we are working our way through that list to say yay or nay to them, so. And then lastly, we have an update on our violation at 420 Randolph Avenue. We have gotten the engineer's report, the building official has looked at it and concurs with their analysis and statements of those. He has allowed them to make certain improvements on the property to shore it up at this point. As part of the engineer's report, we do recognize there's some structural deficits that are occurring, and felt in terms of a financial perspective and a planning perspective, we are moving forward with them getting their entire application into you so that we can issue them an overall permit for the project. And we've been really particular with them to ensure that this moves forward. So I wanted to see a contract with a builder in hand. I want to see their work with their architect. Of course, they need to bring plans into you, but I wanted to ensure we had a contract coming in, and so they now have that in place. And so we should have them coming in, I'm hopeful for the June meeting. That's what we're aiming for. It may be a little tight on the timeline for the architect to do the turnarounds on the renderings, et cetera. So it may be the July meeting, you see them again for them to get their whole plan to you. And they are working on their financing, so I've asked for some financial assurances that this project is really going to happen as well.
Right.
So I just
Could
wanted to give you that update.
Could I have a question about that? That's the building at Plum and Randolph, right there at the corner?
No,
No.
No.
it's the adjacent building.
Okay, right next door.
Is it Plum?
Yes,
Yes, thank you.
Because that corner building.
it's yellow,
Yes.
and the building we're talking about is green.
Green, yeah, okay, but that one.
that one was
a chimney
approved.
that has about,
And the reason we're being so particular to ensure that there's financing and tradespeople lined up or your primary lead people lined up, they've been before you before for
Yeah.
approval, we're gained it, and
Right.
no work happened on the
Right.
project. And so we don't wish to repeat this again just to continue to allow it to deteriorate. We want to ensure that they do the work.
they said about 80% of the salvage could be salvaged from the siding
Yes,
back then,
yes.
yeah. Uh-huh.
They're pretty confident this is not a gut and destroy, no.
No.
So.
The one on the corner is,
That,
The
they've
one in the
gotten,
corner is different and it's permitted, you guys have approved it, and
Yeah, but-
we are actively working with those property owners to ensure that they start
The
moving
chimney
forward
too.
with progress.
Jimmy's leaning, it's
Yeah, it's part of the entire project, if
Okay.
there's a chimney, I really don't remember, Michael,
Okay,
I didn't
that's
look at that file before I came in today, so,
okay.
and that's my report.
okay, at this time, I'd like to thank Katie and Tracy and Libby for all the work they do And is our next meeting at 5 also?
During daylight time, it's 5.
This is a good time.
4 in the winter, is
I
that?
think we said, well, I won't say, I think we just said 5 o'clock all the time.
Okay, good. So everybody's happy?
Yes.
Okay, I'm happy.
And,
I have a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Michael?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.